Hello, everybody. This is Kilo Bravo 8 is Zulu Whiskey Tango. My name is Jeff, and you are watching Kilo Bravo 8 Zulu Whiskey Tango on the air. Yeah, that's a picture of my wall up there with some pictures from Amish country here in Ohio. I like to travel down to Amish country quite a bit and do some sightseeing, some visiting, and so on and so forth uh, down there. So that's one of the things that actually tomorrow I'll be doing some traveling down there to Amish country. So what are we talking about today? We're going to talk about how I got my amateur radio license and how you can get your radio license and how you can help other people. Yes, you can help other people get their amateur radio license. That's a good thing to do. Now, when I got my license back in the 90s, 90, 94, 95, somewhere around there, this is what I used. And I'm sure many of you also used this book. Um, it was a kind of a neat book to use. Like I say, a lot of people did it with that book. I actually found that book recently on eBay a couple weeks back. Somebody had it on eBay. And I guess there were some other versions of this as well. And he had it on there for like $5 or something like that. And I'm sure somebody who may have used that book in the past might have wanted to have it. Um, so they decided to purchase the book. And so that's what I used. Nowadays, there's a lot of good resources out there on how to get your license. I like to tell people to go to the ARL website. You can just Google that, and they got some good books for getting your license as well. Google ARL technician, that comes up. Just go to their website, click on the ARL store, scroll down. Where is it? There it is, licensing and education. And the page comes up. And you got the technician book, the general book, the extra book. And for those of you who are general and extra, want to be a VEC, they got that book there as well. I like to tell people just getting started into amateur radio to get the ARL technician book and study from that. There is a lot of good things in there. It's broken down into chapters. Welcome to amateur radio, radio and signal fundamentals, and a lot of good information there. And I tell people, just getting into it, use the ARL book for the information. And there are some other alternatives to the ARL book out there. One of the other ones that I like to tell people they can look into is Gordon West. I think he's got some really good books out there as well. Go to his website, training, and there they are, the technician book, general class, and extra. I always like to buy both. When I did my general, I bought the ARL general book and then the Gordon West. And what I would do is I would read from the ARL general book, and then when we were out boating or camping, that's when I would take the Gordon West book because I could study from the test questions, and he had a brief description of the answer. So I think both those books are really worth getting after your looking into getting in your amateur radio license. So that's how I got into amateur radio back in the 90, 94, 95, somewhere in that range. and I was a technician for a long period of time before I finally upgraded to general. I don't know why I waited so long, but I did. I retired in 2015 and did a couple of jobs, and then my current job, I did upgrade to the general. And before I upgraded, I actually bought my first HF radio, and kind of had that here in the house so I could listen. And that is the ICOM 7200. That's not a very good picture. Let's see if I can get this light. Yeah, that helps a little bit. So I got the ICOM 7200. Was listening to the HF bands. I have that hooked up to the Chameleon MCOM 2 60-foot wire. And I got the LDG IT 100 antenna tuner. Obviously, that radio does not have a tuner in it, so with that antenna especially, I do need a tuner. So after I got my general, that was my radio. It is actually my favorite radio. I really, really, really like that radio. But shortly after I bought that radio, I then went out and bought the 7200. And as we all know, the 7300. 7300 is a much, much, much better radio than the 7200. But like I say, the 7200 is, in my opinion, bulletproof, military type looking radio. So I like it. The 7300, I have that hooked up to the Butternut HF9V. I have 44 ground radials with that radio. And it's not always more is better. But in my situation, I was able to put down 44 radios, but I was not able to put them down completely around the radio or the antenna. I did have to deal with a tool shed what was in the way. So if you take kind of a couple pieces of the pie out, my radios don't go all the way around. I'm also on the property line, so they go from about 10 feet on one side of the property line, wrapping around to 18, 20, 32 feet, and then it comes back to the other side of the property line. And then I had to cut them back down to 18, 16, 15, and maybe a couple 10-footers there. So that's what I had to do with that. And then my other radio that I have, I use this radio when I go camping. Let's see if I can get this. There we go. Is the Yaesu FT891. I do have that on an antenna switch, so I can switch back and forth between the 7300 to the 891. So that's hooked up to the Butternut. So those are kind of the radios that I have here in the station. And eventually I need to get upgraded to extra class. So with that, I have the ARL General, Extra Book. Have that right here. Using that. You can go to the ARL website and purchase that. There are other ways to purchase that book as well. And then I also have the Gordon West Extra Book. So I have that. So I do need to start studying and get upgraded and get into the extra bands. So anyhow, what we're talking about is how to get licensed and how you can help get other people licensed. And I encourage you to go out and help other people get licensed, especially like the young people. We need to get more people, younger people, into the hobby. And I think if you, and I have done this, I have bought a a couple of the technician books and given them to some people to help them start studying for their technician license. And you could also say, hey, you get your license and I'll buy you a handheld radio. And I don't mean going out and buying somebody a $300, $400 radio, but if you want to do that, go ahead and do that. But if you can get them a technician's license and a cheap radio, handheld radio to get them started, that's great. I'm not a big fan of the cheaper radios, but hey, they do work and they get people on the air and get them interested, and then they can start upgrading to some of the better radios then. So that's what I have done, help people to get licensed by getting them a technician book. So other things you can do to help people get into amateur radios, go to some of the clubs. They have field days. Talk to people who come out and watch, ask what's going on at a field day. Or if you're out, and I've done this, I go camping and I'll take my amateur radio equipment with me. And people ask me, hey, what's that silly antenna that you have? Well, when I'm camping, I take the 891 and I use the Chameleon M-Pass antenna with the Millwhip extension. I do not have the M-Pass 2.0 yet, but someday I will. And so I'll explain to them that that's an amateur radio antenna, and I've got an amateur radio here, and I'm going to try to make some contacts, across the United States, across the pond, all the way around the world if I can. And I'll even try to make some contacts while they're there. I did that once this summer. I had somebody visiting the campsite, and we sat down and tried to make a couple contacts. I was unsuccessful. I made one contact, that was it. Conditions weren't really all that good at the time, so we tried. But I got that person interested. I will be buying him a technician book and get him involved in amateur radio. And I'll probably give him one of my older HTs that I have laying around here. I got a couple, half a dozen or so. So, and let him use that. But I encourage you, do that, offer some of that, and help people get their license. With today's world, way things are going, you never know. Amateur radio might be the thing that we need to use to communicate at some point in time with the hurricanes, the fires, and other things that's going on. So with that, I'll show you my QRZ page and just kind of show you a little bit of what my shack looks like. Now, I do need to upgrade this. I do got different monitors, and I change the pictures that are on the wall from time to time. There again, there's my radios. I got the 880 D-Star or ICOM 880H D-Star radio over here, and 7300, 7200, and the 891 Heil headsets. Now, one thing I did do with my 7200, I took the hand mic from the 7300 and switched it to the 7200, and boy, does that make a difference. That is an incredible microphone. And then I used the headset on the 7300. Like I say, I do switch back and forth from radios from time to time, so I have put the headset on the 7200 as well. Like I say, I do need to change some of these pictures. This is what my shack / work from home office looks like. Kind of a, excuse me, fun place to work and play. And one of the things I like to do is I like to pay attention to DX Summit during the day. See what's coming up out there. Like right now, this looks like a bonus station. KF2IRE is on 7.260. Sign into QRZ, I can bring that up and see what that is. So it's Fire Safety Week. So that's always nice to have that up to watch. See what's out there and kind of make some contacts. Looks like there's a Brazil station out there right now. So maybe after I done with this video, I'll make some contacts. Maybe some other time we'll do a video with some contacts. So that is how I got into amateur radio and how you can help other people get into amateur radio. If you would please, excuse me, got something in my throat. If you would please subscribe. I know I'm not perfect here, never will be perfect, but please subscribe. I'm going to be doing some other videos here in the future. Probably going to have a couple other people on in the future, and do maybe some videos, or maybe some digital type stuff. And I may have a friend of mine on, KA8OAD. He's pretty big into digital stuff. Have him on. He likes to do some of the FT8 stuff. And then I might have a BBQ sometime. Probably wondering, what's a BBQ? Well, maybe we'll have to wait and see. So subscribe, then maybe you'll see what a BBQ is. Maybe do a short talk along with him sometime. Bring him on live. Maybe just a short one. We'll see. And have some fun there. And maybe have some other people. There's some other people who do videos out there who I call the powerhouse people. Maybe I can get one of them on here, and maybe I can ask them for some help on how to better my videos. So if you would, please subscribe, please like, give me a thumbs up, make a comment, good or bad. I accept criticism. So if you think there's something I can do better, hey, let me know. I'd appreciate it. And if I'm doing something right, let me know. If there's something you want me to do in the future, some information or something in the future, let me know. So with that, we're going to say 73 and call it a night. And hope to hear you on the air sometime. If you hear me out there on the air, give me a shout. With that, 73, this is KB8ZWT on the air. Till next time, take care.